would be a good thing to do. You go up to Wanacue, you see that, they look real nice with a lot of the soldiers.
Wayne, I reached out to Wayne for some information on their program, so hopefully we can do it here too.
Okay, good. Memorial Weekend, July 4th, holiday. We have no police boat on the Pompton Lake. What happened to our police boat?
They're being trained as we speak right now and getting all the training in. Because of COVID, they had pushed the classes back. So we should have all the training done by the end of the month, and then the boat will be able to be used and go out.
Is there a schedule of patrolling the lake,
No,
or
there'll be,
will just be,
well, no, I won't say that. There will be times where they'll just throw the boat in the water and move forward, but there's no scheduled time of when that's going to happen. But a good example would be if there's jet skiers going flying through there, the police might see that, they'll call somebody from the town, the boat will be docked there, they'll send an officer down there, he'll jump in the boat and talk to the people with the jet ski.
all right, so there's no scheduled patrol of the weekends or something like that?
I won't say it's not scheduled, but it will be done. There will be times where there will be officers on the lake, yes.
Oh, good. It's nice to see it getting used. I have a receipt here for $107 for fencing. The deer came in my yard. You're talking about gardens with the young lady. They ate half of my garden.
It's a problem.
Could I submit this to the borough administrator for payment for fencing in my
You
yard?
can, but it won't be paid, but you can submit it.
Is there something we're going to do about the deer, Mr. Mayor, or?
We're going to do whatever the county and state is telling us to do right now.
Well, what about us ourselves, you
We
know?
can't do it just by ourselves.
Yes, we could.
No,
Yes,
we
we
can't.
could. Yes, we
It's
could. It's
been-
getting worse. You know it's
There
getting
was
worse.
actually a town, I think it was in New Brunswick, tried to do it, and they stopped their hunt because they said that we get rid of some of these deer and more coming from other towns.
That's why you have to work with the other towns.
But the
It's
other
called
towns-
like a joint effort.
But the other towns don't want to do it.
Oh, you've talked to the other mayors in the other towns?
Yes, remember you had asked me and I had done that.
Oh, you did proceed, didn't you?
Yes.
So if I submit this to Paula, it's
I'm telling you to submit it.
oh.
I
'Cause
can't tell you you'll get paid, but I'm telling you you'll.
I had to put 12-foot high fence all the way around my property.
Maybe go 15, keep those deer out.
Is that legal? Is that
I'd have to see how that is with the check zone, yes.
check zone? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
My name is Tom Medino, 38 Chestnut Avenue, Pompton, lived here 42 years. Just on his comment, we had a baby deer born in our backyard, so I'm not here to complain about that.
Send it to his house.
What? Should I send him? No, my question is, I'm wondering, and I know the answer, if there's any kind of a noise ordinance in Pompton Lakes. 42 years, I've never had any issues. The last 3 years, we have a neighbor, more than one. Party's been going on, and we've had to call the police 5 times now in the last 3 years. And actually, my daughter had a call on a weeknight because she had to get up for work. She gets up at 6, it was during COVID. And so we call the police, they come out, they shut it down. One time, they started right back up, we had to call again. But so I just want to know if there's anything I can do, or is there anything that's work in progress? Every time we've called, we've waited till midnight.
Yeah, there is no, so just let me jump in.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we had a noise ordinance for many years you're talking about since you've been in
Oh.
here. But then the state came in and overrode all those, and there has to be a decibel reading now to make it a nuisance.
Okay.
Some of these people who throw these parties late at night know that decibel level, what it is.
Okay,
And
yeah.
if it's 15, they go 14. So,
Yeah, not in our case, because my daughter is a chemical engineer, one of them. She had her decibel thing because she works for, well, she used to work for, oh, I can't remember the name, but she works for L'Oreal now. But she came and she put it on the window, and it was up in the 80s.
all right, so then did you show the police that?
No.
No, but
We
you have to.
we told them. They came over and shut it down, and then they started up 15
No,
minutes
but
later.
that's an important part of it, because if we have documentation
Oh.
that it's over the certain
Okay.
decibel, they can make moves on that. Now, the other part of that is, when I've spoken to the chief, we might have to send an officer to get trained to carry a meter with him at all times. And
Okay.
that's something we're looking at to do it, but understand, even though they have these parties, they can tone the noise down.
Yeah, and you know what it is?
There's no
It's
timeframe.
yeah, it's the bass. They put, you know, it's like when you're driving down the street and you come up next to somebody and it's in your car. This is what's going on, and I mean, it's in our house. We hear it in our living room. We can't sleep, so we we thought we were reasonable waiting till midnight, but I'm getting kind of really upset, and the police said, I can't do anything about it. I'd like to go over there. And he goes, no, don't go over there.
Yeah, you can't do that.
He says, don't do that.
So let me suggest two things. And if you have an actual, and it has to be...
Yeah, not recent, no, that was the 3 years ago one. That
But
was one.
if you have a decibel meter, it has to be calibrated by the state, so there's steps involved. Now, some of these people that are throwing these parties or things at night are very educated on the laws on how this works.
These are college kids. We think
Okay.
the parents are leaving.
Oh, well then,
They are not there. That's what we think is going on when they have to go to their show house or something. I don't know. They throw them until the police come, and then, and then they shut the music off, and they still have their party.
what's
but
the
that's
address?
I'm not.
On Chestnut?
I live on Chestnut.
Next street over.
Don't, Terry, just quiet. I don't want to start any trouble. I'm just saying. I mean, I had parties growing up in Pompton. I didn't grow up in Pompton.
What I can do is, in the general form, tell the police to do a little patrol on the south end at night. If
But
they hear any noise, knock on the door.
It's hit or miss.
But that's the only way we're going to be able to do it. There's actually no ordinance that says you're too loud, between these hours is quiet time, you can't do that.
Yeah, so you're saying even midnight, unless somebody complains, that's acceptable.
Right, there's no quiet hours like we used to have, 6 to 11. Yeah,
That's,
it's a shame, but that's the way it is.
it is.
It's a
And again,
decibel noise now, not a...
yeah, it is with the bass. That's exactly what's going on. Okay. Figured I'd bring it up, and if there's something I could do, so the only thing I could do is record it, but I have to have
Well, I think a good start would be, if that was to happen again, and you had a decibel meter handy when the police showed up, show them that. That would be
Yeah.
something they could use.
They don't, I think they've asked about coming to our house first, and I go, there's really no need to. You just drive, and you'll hear it. You'll hear it down the block,
And let me just say this, you don't have to give your name when you file a report.
Oh, you don't? They always
have-
ask,
You
yeah.
don't have to state what you're calling about, but if they want to look into the party that's going on, and they don't are not invited from the people who live in that home, the way they can do that is by getting permission from a homeowner adjacent to them and looking over the fence to see if there's any other laws being broken.
Oh.
And then they can use that to go against them. But they can't, in the old days, when our kids were all young, they knocked on the door, they said, stop it, keep it down, or I'm going to bring it down to the station.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Everything's
police are
fine.
not allowed to do that anymore.
Okay.
They have to be invited onto the property unless they're breaking the law in obvious sight.
All right, so we do the decibel thing and continue to call, I guess?
Yep, definitely. And the other part of that too is the more documentation you have on the one area by the police, not by you, is better in a case.
So they do keep this,
Oh,
right?
definitely,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, because like you said, it's 5 times, not
Yeah,
like
definitely
3
they
years.
document it.
My suggestion would be to certify that meter
Okay,
and
make sure that,
have the paperwork.
okay, good.
So
All
when you
right,
show it to the police,
okay.
the threshold, Mayor? I don't know the numbers. I think it's 15 or 14, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was way past it. It was louder, because she works in safety where she's at, and they have to wear headsets and that, so she uses it at her job. And she goes, this is beyond, even with our headsets on. And like I said, the one time, well, whatever, windows were rattling, and it was...
Yeah, and let me
it
just
was
say this,
bad.
and it's unfortunate. I get a lot of calls of complaints. I think we have a lot of newer people because of COVID in town who
Yes.
don't understand how the town works and how the
Yep.
town moves and how
Yep.
things were done in the old days compared to now. So I think a lot of people are getting educated on that, and maybe that'll help over time when they start to say, because it happened in my own house, and I politely went over to the house, just said, hey, the music's really loud, can you turn it down?
Yeah.
And they were very nice, and they said, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, at this point, no.
But I'm not telling you to do that.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You know me. No. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
I have
I can't let you come up again, but we have a second time if you want. Okay, come on, real quick.
okay. We live on Twin Lake, and there's lots of boaters, a lot of people really enjoying the lake. But last couple summers, people were jumping off the boat into the lake. Now, when I was growing up, I said I was from Riverdale, but I had a lot of friends in Pompton Lakes. And where the beach or the park is on the opposite side of us, there was always a sign that said no swimming. There's nothing there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no
And,
restriction. to
and the
swimming.
same with the ice fishing and the children playing hockey. And I know that there is like a channel or something, my mother told me when I was young, that the water is, and you can see by the falls, the water, no matter how cold it is, the water is constantly running. And I think it's something that has to be told to the people, like, there are a lot of new people coming in, and it's a pretty lake. It needs dredging and it needs a lot of work, but, you know, I can see the people that are boating are having a great time. I'm just concerned for their well-being. And I did see, a couple years ago, it was very interesting, they had in the wintertime, they had a rescue thing. It lasted way over an hour, as if somebody fell in the ice and they do, you know, and we happened to catch it, you know, heard some lights, or saw some lights, and so that, but I just think that there should be some warning signs, and I know the Pompton Lake, they have boaters. If the boaters fall into the water or decide to jump off the boat, get in the water,
They're allowed to swim in all the water.
They are, that's that was my next question.
I'm going to say this, there's no restriction to it.
Okay, but do they don't test the waters, or?
The water is tested, but it's not tested for swimming. It's not a swimming lake, but we can't stop people from jumping off the boat into the lake.
Okay.
Same thing with ice fishing. We see a lot of, we had another resident here a while ago saying when the lakeside school gets out, a lot of the kids cut across the lake when they're going home from school. And, you know, they feel it's dangerous for these 6th, 7th graders to be doing that. And the police, the best they can do is tell them, hey, look, that's soft ice, stay off it. If they don't have to follow the rules, they don't have to listen. It's unfortunate.
So I didn't know that, so I'm glad I brought it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Someone,
Yes.
my second time?
Sure, go ahead.
Just had a question on Resolution 22-199, deferring the due date of the third quarter property tax.
Yeah, we couldn't get the printing out yet. It's done.
So what that means is that the borrower has not received a certified tax rate from the county. So we can't print our bills until we get that.
Okay, so the
Interest-free.
10th of August has been pushed.
To the
So
30th usually, right?
it will be 25 calendar days after the date of mailing in which taxes will be due. You won't accrue interest during that time. However, if you pay after that 25 days, interest goes back to August 1st.
Ooh, very good. Well, actually, it goes back to August 10th.
No,
Because you
August
have 10 days leeway, right? No?
August 1st is when they're due.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, can I have a motion to close the public session?
So moved.
Council President Polidori, Councilman Cruz, all in favor? Aye. Against? Approval of minutes. Motion to approve the following minutes, regular meeting minutes, June 22nd, 2022. Can I have a motion? So moved. Councilman Cruz?
Second.
Council President Polidori, all in favor? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta read it. I didn't read that, this is new. We just added the, I gotta read this.
Resolution 22-195,
Yeah, yeah.
authorizing the payment of bills in the amount of $2,969,466.
Okay, so we had, the first was Councilman Cruz, the second was Council President Polidori. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay. Anybody need anything pulled from the resolutions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Liz, whenever you're ready.
Whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Pompton Lake sent the duties and consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolution, whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Pompton Lake will not be drawn into a resolution for individual action from that event, and now therefore be resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. Resolution 22-192 through 22-195.
Okay, motion to approve the resolutions.
So moved.
Councilman Begg,
Second?
Councilwoman Kent, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? First readings.
Ordinance for first reading, final adoption on August 17th. Ordinance 22-16, an ordinance amending and supplementing the municipal code to create Chapter 28 television and movie filming to the municipal code of the borough of Pompton Lakes.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2216 for introduction.
So moved.
Council President Polidori,
Second.
Councilman Begg, roll call, please.
Councilman Bay.
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Okay, under my report, why don't we start with that ordinance? I have good news and bad news. So we're going to put an ordinance in place that basically states when movie companies would like to do business in town, they have to pay some fees to have the privilege of working here in Pompton Lake, so we're putting that ordinance together. The bad side of that is, and I'm very upset about this, The Walking Dead is postponing their filming of the second season that they're going to put together to a different date, so they will not be filming in Pompton Lakes this month, which is very upsetting to me. That's all I can tell you. I was very upset about it. I thought I'd be a zombie for sure. But, so that's why we did put it in place, in case that was to move forward with that. I'd like to remind everybody that the senior picnic is this Saturday at 12 o'clock at the Elks Lodge. All seniors are invited. There'll be a nice lunch, some entertainment. You can come independently, you can come with the groups. I had a couple meetings with DPW, which I think our administrator will talk about a little bit. Hopefully we'll be hiring some more employees with the DPW. There will be some stipulations with that if we hire more, but you know, as the public knows, we have a great DPW. They do a great job here in town. With the way things are going in the country right now, it's hard to keep people in jobs. They keep moving around so often. It's hard to keep good working people there. So we're constantly going through different people in the DPW, which makes it difficult sometimes to do the simple things like picking up garbage and recycling, cutting grass and things like that. So I ask the public to just keep that in mind at this difficult time. We're working on it. We're aware of it. A park might go an extra day or two and not get cut. We will get to it. You're always welcome to call down to the DPW if you have a concern, or somebody missed a garbage can, or recycling wasn't picked up. They do make mistakes. You know, it's a tough job in the summertime. Let's just keep that in mind for everybody that's doing the work there. What else do I have here? We will be having our fireworks and our Pompton Day ceremony this year. There was actually a Pompton Day meeting tonight. We're starting to put the events together. If anybody's interested in joining Pompton Day, we do have vendor slips in the office, correct, Liz? We do have them?
Yes.
We have some in the office here, and they're online. You can do that. We are selling out spots pretty quickly right now. We sell a certain number, and then after that, we're done with that. Summer camp, which I'm sure Bobby will talk about a little bit, has been going well. I will be going Monday to talk to the children of summer camp. And you know, I always go, when I go there, I'm always amazed at the questions that they come up with. And believe it or not, the number one question I get, and having two daughters that teach in school, they get it every day, is when are we getting a swimming pool? So that's what the kids really want. They want a swimming pool. So I always tell them, we're working on it. We'll see what we can do. But it's been a long fight for that swimming pool. And that is my report. Council President Polidori.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended a CRS meeting with the mayor and a few other members of some of our groups and committees, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that worked so hard. It's beautiful. And I hope everyone is enjoying their summer so far, and that is my report.
And thank you for reminding me. I also want to thank the Open Space and Council President and Councilwoman Kent for the redoing of the park. I haven't been to the new park over there. It looks really good. You know, we had added a lot of nice pieces. I heard a lot of nice comments from the people down there when the park was opening. I think we're trying through Open Space to kind of hit a park a year or in that ballpark. So hopefully in the next couple of years we'll see all brand new parks coming through. And I will add that there's an organization in town, the basketball organization is looking into donating new basketball courts at two parks in town. Hopefully that'll happen, and then we'll have some new basketball courts down there too, which is a nice thing to see. Councilwoman Kent.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say today I love the people of Pompton Lakes. That's why I'm here. And I think our residents that came up and had some suggestions, Judy, with the sidewalks and the street signs. I agree. The street signs, I would take on that challenge and get street signs if we could get the money to do it. Because the south end, as bad as some of the ones you mentioned up on Ringwood Ave, some of the ones in South End don't even have street signs.
Years ago, some kids took those
I'm sorry, we just can't go back and forth during the course. That's all.
But I just want to thank you and for bringing up, and I know we talked about a little bit about noise, Tom, and on noise. It seems to me, Mayor, that very common sense ordinances are no longer here, and I don't understand that. Our community is pretty common sense, and if we can't stop a base at 12 o'clock at night, I mean that's a real problem, and we shouldn't have our residents calling the police 2 and 3 times a night.
Unfortunately, there's state ordinances now, not town ordinances. So.
Well, people, voting is in November, okay, and this is when it makes the difference. So that's all I can say. But we're trying, and we're answering your questions, and they're very reasonable requests. It's a shame we can't do anything about it because some state law won't allow us, and I feel for you, I do. I wanted to tell Amelia, if she wants to talk about the greenhouses, she should come. I'm going to ask her to come to the environmental meeting, because we do have a lot of people that would, maybe deal with the county on something like that. That would be more of a county thing, because I don't think we would have a place to put a 96-foot greenhouse. But sometimes the county could do something like that. So that would be a county issue. But I just want to thank you all for coming and listening and, giving us that opportunity. So thank you. Brandy, one of the reasons that it was very hard to do anything additional with the DPW is because they are really short-staffed, which is probably why we didn't ask for additional flags. The only place that we did put additional flags out was at Lakeside Park. And Lakeside Park looked very, very patriotic, in my opinion, because they did have small flags that the crews and I think the recreation.
No, the residents.
I think residents, they did put that out there, but they did make the parks look very nice. And they worked very, very hard, as Council President Paul Derry said, on the Galapagos. So we're a little shocked. So but I do thank you for bringing that up, and I do support whatever we can do with Lean and something like that. I do support that. Just want to know. I also, as we said, I attended the Pacifico Gallo ribbon cutting. We welcome George Ella, the new frog that we all heard about. And the children were beautiful, and they were very happy to get their certificate of participation. I want to thank the mayor for supporting. Mayor Sarah supports all of the park restorations. I want to thank you, and I want to thank the council for, always voting yes. So I want to thank them for that. Gallo Pacifico Park looks huge now because of the hard work that the DPW did, and they were there 3 or 4 days, and they had very little time because they had to wait for the equipment to be installed, and the equipment was delayed. I think there was rain, there was all kind of issues that I know Jennifer's been working with the contractor. So once they had to go, they were there, and it looked amazing. They had about 75 people attend. Gentlemen, thank you for the cookies and the refreshments. She brought like 10 boxes of cookies, and they were all gone. And I think I had one, so that's okay. Everybody enjoyed it. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank the Columbia Savings, Gene Hoffman, and the staff, and again, DPW, getting out there and doing what they're doing. And we're truly trying hard to make the town look good. I did help with summer camp on the first day of sign up because I'm retired, so I have a little more time, and I like for them to get to know me because sometimes they need an adult, if they have people sign up, people, sick or they can't make it. So I do help them out, even though I'm not the rec commissioner anymore. But I'm so proud of our summer camp. They do an amazing job, and they have 191 children. And we have our director, Karen Murphy, and the two directors, Allison Daly, and then we have a new girl that I'm trying to think of her name. But anyway, Bobby will bring that up. Anyway, they're doing a wonderful job with the children, and that's really why it's important to keep all our parks in good condition. As far as flooding, and we have a $10,000 Haraldson Place Habitat Restoration Project, and there we got the approval, and we're going to go ahead with the planting in September. So we got that all approved, so that's done. And we do have Solitude treat our lake, Pompton Lake and Twin Lake, and they do inspect, but I do have the reports. I want to thank Paula very much for getting those. They were contractor was a little deficient in sending them out to us, but you got on them and you got our reports, so I thank you. And it looks like our water's in pretty good shape. So the water quality is good.
I just sent another report.
And I didn't read that one, but okay. But the one that I do have looks like they didn't do any treatment because they said it was in good shape. So that treatment is working, and they do monitor that. We don't recommend they swim because we don't do swimming testing, so we don't recommend. But they do look at the water quality. It seems to be okay so far. And that is my report.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Begg.
Thank you. I received the Pompton Lakes Police Department report for the month of June 2022 from Chief Derek Clark. There were 2,582 calls for service for the month of June. There were 416 motor vehicle stops, 219 summonses issued, 1 DWI arrest, 21 motor vehicle accidents investigated, 43 ambulance requests, 24 alarm conditions burglary, 6 alarm conditions fire, 1 burglary, 5 thefts, 2 sexual assaults, no aggravated assaults, 21 domestic calls for investigation. The Detective Bureau investigated 16 complaints, conducted 19 background checks for firearm permits, completed 3 raffle and 1 bingo application, and 14 background checks for the military and police agencies. I received the CERT report from CERT Supervisor Deborah Ross. She reports that the CERT team had a total of 13.75 volunteer hours for the month of June 2022. I received the Pompton Lakes Fire Department report for the month of June 2022 from Fire Prevention Chief John Keating. There were 25 calls for service for the month of June. There were 2 major fires, house fires, and that's my report.
And you know, once again, I always got to remind everybody, we have volunteer fire departments, ambulance squads, and they're always on call for us when we need them. You know, there's never a time where I'm getting a call saying we don't have enough guys to show up. So we got to give our hats off to them all the time. Those 2 house fires, I was at one of them. They were severe house fires. They were really moving quick, and it was in the middle of the day, and we had 20 or so of our volunteer guys there, which says a lot. So I thank them all for what they do. Councilman Cruz, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So I received the Recreation Committee report, and you know, just looking at the report, it's amazing just to see how many programs there are for the kids in town. As the mayor mentioned before, I'll begin with the senior picnic, Saturday, July 16th at the Elks Lodge. From noon to 3 p.m., sandwiches, potato salad, macaroni salad, cake, drinks, and ice cream will be provided. Peter Lieberman is a one-man band will be playing. Almost 100 seniors have RSVP'd already for that event. Summer camp, which started June 27th to July 29th, Hirschfield Park. That runs from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have a total of 197 children signed up. As far as some of the programs they've done for the kids, we've had some tie-dye camp shirts, Jack's Petting Zoo, Seeing Eye Dogs, Arts and Crafts, Happy Birthday Camper, water safety demonstration, Wade PAL Health, Elizabeth Green talks about nutrition, and some of the upcoming events that are happening within the next few weeks. We have the Wet Down Bike Rally with the Pompton Lakes Police Department, Master Mike, Iron Eagle Martial Arts Demonstration, Meet the Mayor. That's going to be very exciting. I know.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
I know they're going to vote very highly for that one. Walkathon for St. Mary's Food Pantry, First Aid Squad visit and discussion. A lot of events planned and theme days every day. And this is, again, Councilwoman Ken had mentioned, you know, we have the camp wants to thank Allison Daly, she's the summer camp director, Crystal Tizzulo, assistant director, Jess Schaefer, Melissa Vogel, and all the counselors doing a great job this year. We have the middle school camp, which just started July 5th to July 15th, and that's being held at the Pompton Lakes High School from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., run by Eileen Allen. 10 kids are currently in the program. They are offering ping pong, basketball, box ball, I'm not sure about that one, dodgeball, and various other games for this age group. And I know this was mentioned in previous meetings, but the paddle boats, the kayaks, ping pong at Lakeside Park run from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends, weather permitting. Rent a kayak or paddle boat for $15 an hour. Ping pong is free. And Pompton Day, obviously the mayor had mentioned, we're well on the way of planning and getting all our vendors and all the events for that day.
Thank you. Professional reports. Do you have any report?
No, I just want to say that there was a lot of talk about the state of New Jersey's noise ordinance. If anyone does have any interest in reading it, it's quite long, but you can find it at the New Jersey Administrative Code, Chapter 7:29. So it's out there on the DEP's website.
It's fun reading.
It is.
Anything else?
That's it.
Administration.
All right, thank you, Mayor. To continue with the talk about the lakes, from where Councilwoman Kent left off, the borough has a service in place. The lakes are treated twice a month, typically around the 15th and the 27th of the month. The report that Councilwoman Kent is talking about, the lakes were, they were clear. So as you know, the weather's getting warmer, algae, there's less movement. So they did treat the lake again on June 14th. They treated Pompton Lake, and they're going to go back and they did that again on the 27th, and they'll be looking at Twin Lake. They had difficulty getting into the launch, I guess, when they were doing all the playground stuff.
Because of the playground.
So they're gonna call next time to ensure. So I'm just gonna call off and say, listen, we're not gonna, and they're gonna be there, because they'll be there the 15th, it's already the 13th, so around that time. They treated about 8 acres of the upper lake, so,
Okay, I didn't get that.
and I just, in all fairness to the EPC?
Yeah, EPC.
Yes. In all fairness to our council members up here, I literally just sent them, because I got the report at about 5 o'clock today. So I sent that over just to announce that for this meeting. As you know, JCP&L goes around, residents do call and say there are trees that are wrapped around the wires, I'm concerned, so on and so forth. JCP&L will go out and evaluate, and if the trees are on private property, they will cut them down. However, when they cut down the trees, sometimes they'll have an agreement with the resident whereby if they cut down the tree on private property, it's the resident's responsibility to remove the debris. So I just want to bring that, I just want to say there's a couple tree debris locations that will be picked up this week. Hamburg, and forgive me for pronouncing this name probably wrong, street name, Barthol? Barthol. So tree debris will be picked up this week on that street, and then on Hemlock next week. Verizon, so the pond hole, as you know, has been temporarily paved. We're looking for permanent pavement. That'll be, there's a whole ordinance in place with regard to parking permits and whatnot in the pond hall. What we were waiting for is for Verizon to move their communication equipment to the new hall. Verizon had a hold up with the county, and I've been told that that'll be done by the end of this month. So we can continue with that capital project. As you know, the library bench has been installed. The contractor is waiting for pink granite dust to finish the steps.
Did the meters come in, for the parking? Did we ever order?
You know what, I'm going to follow up on that, Mayor, because before paving goes in or
Yeah, we have
anything
to
like
have
that.
them. And the lights, we ordered lights and everything.
I believe the lights were installed, I'm not sure, but I'm going to check.
Yeah, let's make sure we have everything in place before we do
Before
the
that
paving.
happens. So yeah, the borough does do its diligence, not only with its lakes, but its river cleanup. I met with Lauren Bennett today from, forgive me, I can't recall.
Flood advisory board? Flood advisory board.
Flood advisory. To date, because of all the debris removal, trees, de-shoaling, that has decreased the river levels by almost 2 feet, if not more. That means that that's 2 feet less of water that can rise above on land. So really excellent work on behalf of here, the mayor and council, all of you, in keeping the rivers clean. It's so important. There still continues to be some people illegally dumping in the rivers, which is disappointing to see, but we're keeping on top of it. So I just want to advise you that the borough is very diligent on that, and we will be expanding, requesting the DEP to extend our permit to the Paquonic and Ramapo River. Right now, we are permitted in the Wanacue. So we're going to extend that. With regard to the sculpture for Lakeside Park, I spoke to the county. What's best is, and I spoke to Kelly, the county's just going to pay for the sculpture outright. So this way we don't have to deal with the exchange of money.
Perfect.
So what they just need, and maybe I'll talk to you, Council President Polidori, about getting more information. there needs to be a submittal, some justification so the county can see, you know, what it is we're doing, but what's best. And I'm gonna call the sculptor and just give him the green light.
I spoke with him too, he said he was gonna reach out to you, did he get back
He
to you?
did, and we've
Okay.
been playing phone tag today.
Okay.
So, just to assure you, it'll take 3 weeks, he left me a message, take 3 weeks. So I'm going to get that information to Kelly, and then the money will be paid right out from the county.
So this could be on time for Pompton Day.
Very much so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be good. And then, let's see what I have here. Just one other thing, I'm gonna be, speaking on WGHT, taking over for Kevin's spot.
We have a representative in the audience today.
Yes, and Ryan is here today. So I'm going to be starting next Thursday, and I'm going to be talking about borough operations, events, public educational opportunities. This borough does a lot to invest in educating the community about what is going on in terms of long-term effects of COVID. Councilman Polidori had given me a letter from our school superintendent. There's a lot of help out there for folks that are still having difficulty in recovering from the pandemic. There's a lot of information that we give learning opportunities with regard to cyberbullying through our coalition. So I hope that the public reaches out, because these are wonderful programs, and you know, it is a grant and we're hiring professionals to educate our community. So I would hope that we have some more participation. We have good participation, but you know, of course, we can always make it better. And that's all I have to say.
So thank you for reminding me. We did have a meeting with the GHT, and we're still moving forward in selling off the radio station. It's just so everybody knows, it has become an FM station also. Help me with the number?
98.3.
98.3, and it's also still the 1500 on AM. Like the administrator said, she does Thursdays. I do a Friday morning report. It's a little early, but I do it on the radio there. I got to say, you know, because of COVID, they had a tough time with the radio station because of the way things are. They're back in full force. They hope to start doing football games and be more involved in our local community and get things coming more from a local level. So that's where we were excited when this initially came to us a couple of years ago. Then COVID hit, unfortunately, and they got sidetracked. So they will be back, hopefully in full force. And we're one of the few towns that still have a radio station. And I should throw out, I don't know if everybody knows, we won a lottery along with channels like WABC and CBS put in for this lottery to become an FM station. And little old Pompton Lakes won the lottery. And that's why we became an FM station. You know, all these other big radio stations were in this lottery hoping to get it, and we ended up getting it. So that's why they became an FM station. And it can reach New York City with this FM station. So it's a nice little thing that happened there. And then the other thing I forgot to mention, for the council's sake, we did have a meeting with DMK, and it looks like we'll be working out a deal with DMK to stay on with us to finish the work he started with us. Hopefully that's big news for us and big news for the flood and everything else. He is giving up the business, but he will continue to help us and work with us, so that's a big deal. Any questions for the administration? Nope. Okay. Motion to open meeting for public comment.
So moved.
Council President Polidori, Councilman Begg, all in favor? Aye. Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Please step up.
Randy Hinton, 443 Montclair Ave. Quite a few times I've been at this podium, and quite a few times I've criticized the council. But this time I would like to say how much I appreciate the council and what they've done for Shade Tree Commission. Recently we just had our spring planting. We planted 16 trees in town, and then we planted also 3 trees at the library. Hopefully it's going to take time for this Norway spruce to grow, but that'll be our Christmas tree. Recently also, I received a email from our new administrator wanting the mileage that I put down for payment reimbursement.
Nice. That's good.
And want an explanation on everything that I went to for that mileage. And the council is absolutely correct in asking that. I'm surprised that they haven't asked that in years past, but now she said the council is requesting that, and I would just like to thank whatever council member is asking that of me, because I keep a log every year, and I write down every day that I'm out doing shade tree work, where I've gone, the address of I've gone to, and the mileage that I have.
We're asking it of everyone that submits reports like that, so that we have a justification for it. It should have been like that from the beginning.
So what you're telling me is that everybody that has mileage in town is going to be requested to do the same. That's fair, and you guys are doing your job to make sure that everything is done correctly.
We are going to ask you to get a small vehicle, though.
Excuse me?
A smaller vehicle.
I was hoping for like a leased truck from the town. You
just
think we
saying.
can work that out?
You want to drive a big truck?
Oh, come on
be
now, you
limits.
know. I have a big job.
Me too.
They're putting a lot of bicycle lanes in.
That's true.
You buy me a new bike?
You might look at it.
There you go. Also, there was a recent Supreme Court decision about concealed carry nationwide. Now, I was just curious, is the council thinking anything that, I mean, there's views on both sides of that, but I'd hate to really see citizens concealed carry coming into a meeting like this. Has there been
That is not a
decisions?
decision that we will make locally. That'll be a state or county decision, so it has nothing really to do with us locally. We'll follow the guidance of what's given to us by the state.
It was the federal court decision.
Right. So it isn't like, I'd hate to see concealed carry here at a meeting.
No, it's not hit or miss on what town you go to. It's going to be a statewide mandate, whatever way they go.
All right, just as long as the lawyer and the council is looking into that.
Yeah, you want to-
Concealed carry, carry permits, gun registration, that's all done by the state. That has nothing to do with the town.
Right. But I mean, will we have a say, will the council have a say as to what buildings they're allowed to or not to carry in?
That you would have to take up with your state legislature.
It's all going to be state decided, if that happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right, right.
Contact your local general assembly or state legislature.
Shows how important it is to vote, huh, Councilwoman Scott? All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. You can step up, yes.
Mouse just never stops.
It's okay. Now's the time to do it.
Speaking about that and our recent problems with shootings in the schools, I know when I used to pick up my grandkids from school, I needed to go to the school, they would, buzz me in, let them know who, where, why, and who, what, where, why. And I don't know anything about government, but I'm asking you, could we have metal detectors in all the schools where the children walk in because somebody could be carrying a knife from home wanting to show it off, or?
That would be a school board decision, not a town decision.
Okay, all right.
So we do supply an SOR officer, which is one of our police officers that stays in the schools and is there to go through all the schools. His permanent job is in the schools, and he does that, and we've had that for many years.
Yeah, but I just think that the metal detector would be
Right, that would
from
be
kindergarten up.
that would be a school decision if they
Okay,
wanted to.
all right. Have to
And
go to the
just to
school
bring,
board.
just to add to that, I was on the school board for a few years. And,
Yes.
And since we've had so many shootings, I kind of lost track, but it was a few years back we had a shooting, and we did put it to the public, and there were many options on the table regarding, how far the school district and the parents really wanted to go, and they didn't want metal detectors.
Okay.
And I can tell that was one of many options that was
Yes,
brought
Bill.
to the table.
Your schools are locked down, and they do have cameras on the door.
Yes.
And
Yes,
do
well, they
reckon-
did,
yes.
the other schools, some of them too, so but,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, that was just like
Good, thank
putting
you.
it out there.
Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
I am Ryan Gosser, 5 Carr Street. First of all, I want to say great job with the Ringwood Ave paving. I was
Almost
told
done.
I can't go back to my house till 11 o'clock tonight, but that's beside the point. I'll stay out. But yeah, I did just want to bring a name to a face with WGHT. We are operating in town, and I do live here. I've lived here my whole life and graduated from the high school in 2016. So if there's any events you guys need covered, we'll be at National Night Out, and I'm sure we'll talk about Pompton Day coming up soon as well. So any events you guys have, reach out to me. I'll be happy to get around, have a good time. And if you need any information from me, if you give me 5 minutes after the meeting, I got business cards in my car, and that's got all my contact information. You guys can always reach out, and that goes to the public as well. You guys can reach out with anything going on. We really want to turn this radio station into what it was, and what everybody, every time I hear, oh, I remember GHC, yeah, well, let's get back to it, and let's hopefully remember it again and turn the corner with it. So, thank you.
Thank you. And just,
located at the end of Lincoln Avenue?
Yes.
so just to follow, I was going to bring it up, just to follow up, this radio station that's operating now has a sister property in Orange County that's been operating for a very long time. I've done many interviews up there. It's a beautiful building. They're going to try to get that set up down here in Pompton Lakes, the same thing. So they're going to have 2 radio stations going together simultaneously, interviews from both sides. They have a whole list of shows that they run on a daily basis coming out of Orange County now. They hope to do that here in Pompton and then bring up more of a local touch. But at the end of the day, just so everybody understands, the radio station was sold to them by us, from us to them. So they will be running the radio station. The town has no say or control over the radio station. It is their own public entity at that point. Okay, anybody else from the public like to speak? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session? Council President Polidori, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Privilege of the floor. Anybody privilege of the floor?
I would just like to meet the gentleman in the back, because I was on the radio a few times and with our environmental, programs, and I love the radio station. I was sad when it went out, so I'm thrilled that you're back. So I'll meet you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, motion to adjourn. Council President Polidori, Councilman Cruz, thank you, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody.
They told me-
Yep.